Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to discuss the basics of one of the more popular offshore disclosure programs, the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures, and how do you qualify as a non-resident. So, the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures are for taxpayers who are non-lawful. They either did or didn't file original tax returns. That's one great thing about Streamlined Foreign. For the domestic version of the program, which is for non-foreign residents, for U.S. residents essentially, you had to file original tax returns in order to qualify. For Streamlined Foreign, you don't have to. You could file original returns as part of the program, but ta-da, the most important aspect is to qualify as a foreign resident. So who qualifies as a foreign resident? Well, it's broken down into two separate categories. Either you're a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, or you're not, and the tests are different. So if you're a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, you essentially have to show that you were out of the U.S. for 330 days or full days in any one of the last tax years, 3 tax years, in which the time to file, including extensions, has already expired. So you're filing the Streamlined Foreign in early 2021, let's say, and you hadn't filed your 2020 tax return yet, the time hasn't expired. So you're amending 17, 18, and 19, or filing original 17, 18, and 19 returns. You have to show in one of those 3 years that you did not qualify, or that you did qualify, for being out of the country for at least 330 days. So one question becomes, well, when you're going through the IRS information, it references Internal Revenue Code Section 911 and the regulation, et cetera, et cetera. So the question becomes, can it be 330 days in any 12-month consecutive period, as you can do for the physical presence test under the foreign earned income exclusion, or is it 330 days in a tax year? The way it's written would presume that it has to be within the tax year. If you look at the form 14653, which is the one that's used for Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures, it just makes you identify the year and yes or no, mark it off whether you've been out for 330 days. It doesn't give you much wiggle room. Depending on your facts and circumstances, it's something to consider in talking with your tax professional that you're working with. But the thing to keep in mind is that the IRS is kind of doing it as a favor to taxpayers, right? Letting them do this program and enter the program with no penalty and having not filed original tax returns. If you make it difficult for the agent, if they see something that they're not used to, then it could lead to a potential audit or to be disqualified or rejected from the program, which then could lead to significant penalties. So it's something to really consider before just taking the position that, well, it should be any 330-day period because I read it somewhere, somehow on a blog on the World Wide Web, right? So something to consider. If you're a non-U.S. citizen, non-lawful permanent resident, it's generally a little bit easier. You just have to show that you didn't meet the substantial presence test using the same 3-year guidance that we just explained for citizens and lawful permanent residents. Substantial presence basically says that you use a 3-year period. Current year it's 1-to-1, prior year it's 1-to-3, year before that's 1-to-6, and if you don't meet the resident requirement, then you didn't meet substantial presence. If you're able to show that you didn't meet substantial presence just one of the 3 years, great, then you should qualify for the Streamlined Foreign, assuming that you're non-lawful. Depending on how long you've been out of compliance for and what the facts and circumstances are, there's various programs. If you're willful or just can't certify under penalty of perjury that you're non-willful, there's the Voluntary Disclosure Program, BDP. There's Streamlined Foreign, as we just discussed. There's Streamlined Domestic if you don't qualify as a foreign resident, assuming that you filed original tax returns. There's also alternatives to those programs. There's a delinquency procedures and reasonable cause. We have lots of free information available on our main websites and our sub-websites. You can always reach out to schedule a reduced fee initial consultation if it's appropriate to your situation. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.